guys, thanks for joining me for yin practice today. We're calling this one Hungry Hips, so we are going to dive into our hips a bit for the next hour. If you have a blanket or a bolster, you might want to grab one or two of those just for a little optional support as needed. And so if you want to gather a couple things, you can. When you're ready to lie down on your back, Supta Baddha Konasana. And this might already be a position where you'd like a blanket or towel or yoga block if you have one or two. Right underneath the outer thighs as you come down and place the soles of the feet together. Let those knees drop out to the sides. Right? And again, maybe you have props to support you to grab you right here. Maybe you just let gravity do the work and find comfort there. Your hands are going to rest on your low belly or at your sides, whatever feels most comfortable. Just kind of rock your shoulders underneath you a couple of times and a nice deep breath in through the nose. Allow it to pour out of your mouth. Feeling your back get a little bit heavier on the ground. Another deep breath in, all the way to the belly. Feeling the belly rise. And a nice deep breath out of the mouth. Now start to breathe in and out of your nose. So the lips are gently sealed. The eyes are closed, all the muscles on the face relaxed. Just starting to slow everything down. To very kindly, lovingly scan the body. Notice how you're feeling, where you're tight, where you're open, and just kind of what is in this moment. Maybe placing a slight constriction at the base of the throat if Ujjayi breath is in your practice. It's kind of finding that fogging up the mirror sensation as you breathe in and out of the nose. Try to feel the experience of the breath happening fully in the torso without stress. Just stay nice and relaxed, but consciously breathing deeper, fully, more completely than we often do when we're just doing our regular stuff. Come to these different moments in our yin practice where we just get quiet, we spend a few minutes in a particular posture, might be a little bit intense, digging into the hips, which can be an emotional experience. So just be really patient with yourself and just keep remembering to breathe deeply. And every time your thoughts, your mind starts to wander, it's all about just coming back to the present moment. To what is right now and reconnecting with the breath and relaxing. So the thoughts then just kind of become more like those thoughts passing in the sky, right? They're there, but they're just passing by. Our attention is just right on what we're actually doing. Spend just a couple more minutes in this initial position. There's a sweet parable or something like that you call it, I guess, reading that I wanted to share today that I was reminded of recently. The rich industrialist was horrified to find the fisherman lying beside his boat smoking a pipe. "Why aren't you out fishing?" asked the industrialist. "Because I've caught enough fish for the day." "Why don't you catch some more?" "What would I do with them?" "You could earn more money. Then you could have a motor fitted to your boat to go into deeper waters and catch more fish. Then you would have enough money to buy nylon nets. These would bring you more fish and more money. Soon you would have enough money to own 2 boats, maybe even a fleet of boats. Then you would be a rich man like me." "What would I do then?" then you can sit back and enjoy life. What do you think I'm doing right now? Such a good reminder to just really check in what our mindset is and of our goals, and why we're aspiring to go to different places that we're going in our lives, and especially right now in this COVID-19 time when a lot of us are having to just slow down, be creative, figure out sort of the balance of what is and what we'd like to create, and that we can still just enjoy life without needing so much, and that things can be quite simple, and even with less money, a greater abundance of a joyful experience of life, because we're not in this place of desire and need for more than all the beauty that we already have in our life. So just kind of taking a moment, maybe one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly, just checking in with that. How we sit in this place that is enough and more, rather than a need to go out and do and need and more. In your practice today, same thing, just take it nice and slow, enjoy it. Don't be any need to be in a place where your body is not at today. It's okay. And take one more breath. When you're ready, gently bring your knees toward one another. Use your hands to help if you like. You can move your blankets out of the way if you have them there. Open your feet to as wide as your mat, your knees as well. And just a couple times dropping the knees side to side. Little windshield wiper action. Maybe you take your head in the opposite direction of your knees, just kind of loosening up your neck a little bit. Arms are just comfortable out to your sides. Nice little Prom Pose. Couple more breaths. And then when you're ready, you feel like you've done both sides equally, you bring your knees in toward your armpits. Now, so they kind of stay at that mat distance, like our arm. Just bring the knees in toward your armpits. And then as you can, you're going to lift your feet up so the ankles stack over the knees for happy baby, and we'll hold for 3 minutes. So you can hold on to the feet if you can grab them, or the big toes. You can always use a towel or strap if you need. You can hold on to your calves, the backs of your legs, kind of whatever you feel there. If you do allow the hips to round here, you're going to get a little bit of inverted benefits, which you may choose to do today. You can also opt to use the arm muscles in this position to help kind of pull those knees closer to the ground and get a little bit deeper into the position. Just kind of strengthening the biceps a little bit, a little extra bonus there, rather than just relying on the gravity. So here you're helping to decompress and release the SI joints. And if you do have any issues with your SI joints, please be sure to not take it too far. So I'll be getting our little timers set off, so that's what I'm doing when I look like I'm doing something weird. I'm just setting the timer so I can keep us on track for our 1 hour flow today and keep you in the positions for the amount of time. Land up. If you needed to back off a little bit, you could opt to just bring the soles of feet together, a little bit different variation. If you want to take it a little bit deeper, please make sure the lower back, the backs of the hips stays on the ground. You can start to just see how it feels to explore taking the legs out straighter. That would be a variation that you could choose. You can stay still. You can rock side to side a little bit. And then again, just dive into the breath and notice what what happened, right? Did the mind kick in and start making up a bunch of stories, or did your body just kind of react to being in this position? Maybe the jaw clenched up, the eyes tightened, the forehead crunched, and the shoulders tensed up. So if any of that happened, just notice, and then you just get to relax again. It's all good. It's all about awareness. Being mindful. If you're using some of your arm strength to kind of pull the feet actively, then for this last, the less than a minute, just be a little bit more relaxed. Just really relax the shoulders, and now just let that gravity kick in a little bit more. And take one more breath. You're ready to release your feet gently. And again, just use your hands to guide your knees back toward one another. Just take a few knee circles, so allow the knees to go around one direction, just making circles, massaging the lower back. Nice and slow, enjoy the little massage. Go ahead and switch directions, making the circles go the other way. And you're just going as big or small or fast or slow. It's just really kind of targets that sweet spot in your lower back for you today. And then just give your knees a nice hug into the chest. Good. And you can rock and roll up to seated or just roll to one side, whatever feels best for you. And come up onto all fours. Okay, from here we're going to come into swan and sleeping swan. So basically that's like a half pigeon in your traditional practice. So you just slide your right knee up to your right wrist. And then just swing that foot over toward the left side of your mat. Engage your core just a little bit. Tuck your back toes under, lift the knee up. Now just send the weight back. Have your right foot flex to protect your knee. If you can keep going, bring that right knee a little bit more out to the right and the right foot more toward, like you're trying to get your shin parallel to the top of your mat. Okay? And so from here, you lift, you feel a little more tension on the left hip flexor, just kind of noticing that. The stretch, the availability to open, a little bit of compression for the lower back. And take one more breath here. And then we'll exhale and slowly lower down. And so you're going to spend 5 minutes on each side in this position. In the last minute or so, I'll offer, if you'd like to come back up for that swan position out of the sleeping swan and focus once more on the hip flexors. But for now, let's just be forward and focus on that outer right hip and piriform this area. You're welcome to grab your blanket and just kind of make yourself as cozy as you can. Maybe laying your chest on it, maybe your head, or maybe your arms extend out. Don't let your right butt sit over on the ground. There's some space there. If you want to fill that space with the blanket, that's a nice option to keep the hips level. And a nice deep breath in, breathing out. And do your best to relax into it, even if it's quite intense. This can be quite an intense position, so just be patient, as long as you're not experiencing pain in your knee, and it's just more like, whoo, that's a good stretch, then that's perfect. If it's too much on your knee, you can always take your figure 4 stretch, laying down onto your back, crossing, or eye of the needle, they might call it too, and cross the right ankle, and then just grab onto that left leg, pull that knee in, just like this. So it's another way to target that outer right hip if you're leaning. So you're already into your first 2 minutes. Just enjoying the sound of nature, the sound of your own breath. In the yin practice, this kind of opportunity to find different ways to just get really cozy, even in the most, intense moment. How can we really figure out a way to just get comfortable, like comfortably uncomfortable, like we talk about a lot in our yin practice here at the Yoga Hut. Missing all my yin friends, but glad that we are practicing together now, wherever that may be. I hope you're able to get cozy. Make sure that breath doesn't get stuck in the chest. Keep it flowing. You're more than welcome to stages like this, or if you'd like, come back up into that swan, lifting up, and the stretch can transition a bit, and the more you walk yourself up, the more you're going to get that kind of back bend experience, opening up the front of the left hip. And again, you can have something underneath that right hip for support. Otherwise, you're just staying forward in your sleeping swan. If you feel okay, want to just energize a little bit, you can add a little yang to your yin by hugging the inner thighs in and reaching the arms up to the sky. For 20 more seconds here. So if you're still folded forward, just very slowly start to press yourself back up. Lifting your chest up. Good. And then exhale and just slide that right knee back. Straighten the leg for a moment and come into a child's pose. Knees open, big toes touch. Send the hips back toward the heels. Drop the forehead gently onto the ground. Just have a minute here. In between sides. So notice the 2 sides of the body right now. Notice the kind of like the feeling of energy, blood flow, openness versus tightness on each side of your right and left hips. One more deep breath. Really pull the breath all the way to the backs of the hips. And slowly you can bring those hips back up and sliding the knees inward. And then when you're ready, slide the left knee up to the left wrist and swing that foot over to the right side. And tuck the back toes under, lift the knee, and just gently slide the knee back as far as it will go to get the hips a little lower to the ground. And you can start to feel that left hip tuck, kind of know that you're getting to your edge. Maybe that foot can go a little bit more forward, but keep the hips level. Support yourself with a blanket or something if you like. Inhaling, your back toes are facing straight back. And then exhale, when you're ready, you pour it forward into that sleeping swan. Grabbing a blankie or anything to be cozy. If you turned your head one direction on the other side, turn it the other direction this side. Maya Angelou said, the desire to reach for the stars is ambitious. The desire to reach hearts is wise. Tapping into our own wisdom, our own intuition. We're just reaching toward each other's hearts, especially in this time when there's, this real sense of disconnection and fear. It's just been so beautiful to see all the different creative ways that we're figuring out how to still stay connected and spread love and joy, whether it be, our Easter thing that we did since we couldn't hang out with all our friends. Our usual traditional thing was to just be like little Easter elves and deliver one of our tropical flowers to all the different friends with a little note and scatter off, and we just found came across them, and it touched a lot of hearts, and we feel like that was wise. Like it was really a nice thing to do, rather than be so ambitious and reaching for the stars and needing to be big or grandiose. Just keeping it really about love and spreading that love. And there's been so much of that, that's been happening, that's been going on. And just seeing all the different sharings and ways that are available. So just tune into that wisdom that shows us, how to reach each other's hearts. We have one more minute in this variation before lifting up to the swan for the last minute if you choose to. Really just try to kind of channel this rain, I guess. Even though that was funny. Contentment over greed. Feel free to stay here, just enjoy the sound of the rain and staying forward if you did on the other side especially. Otherwise, for the last minute, go ahead and just walk yourself up. Move slowly. Draw the low belly in and up and hug the inner thighs a little just for some support. And lifting the chest up. Again, you can have something tucked underneath that left side if you'd like. The left foot is flexed. Maybe reach for the stars. Maybe you just want to get ambitious for a moment because you're following your heart. Just kind of finding that just beautiful balance that's available. You can still be ambitious and still reach for the stars, but where is that coming from? Is it coming from a heart place or a greedy mind ego place? What are we feeding? One more breath. Good. From your sleeping swan, slowly bring yourself back up. If you were already up, then there you go. You can slide your left foot back. Straighten out the leg for a moment. Just give that knee a little love. And then both knees wide again. Big toes touch. Shift back into child's pose. And stay here for another 30 seconds. So you have the option to lift into a downward facing dog if you like something a little bit more active. And bring your hips up, tuck the toes under, send the hips up to the sky, getting the spine nice and straight. Finding that upside down V position. Heels reaching down, hips reaching up and back, anchoring through your hands. Good, and then gently bring your knees down. Okay, so we're going to come to our frog pose for 5 minutes. So you can feel free to grab your blanket to create a little bit of extra padding for your inner knees if you think that might be helpful. I generally like to do that. Let's see, I guess I'll face this way. And you're going to open your knees out nice and wide. So basically from your child's pose that you're in, just start to lift your hips and bring your chest forward. And then see if you can start to slide your knees a little wider apart, as wide apart as they'll go. You can stay here or take the feet out so the ankles are right behind the knees, similarly to your happy baby position. And keep just kind of nudging the knees a little more gently apart as you can. Right, if it's too intense to bring the feet out to the side, you can swing those big toes back to touch again. Maybe press your hips back a little bit. Maybe you need to back off and come a little bit more forward. Okay, so at this point, just like we did in that swan position, you can grab like a bolster, blanket, rolled up towel, anything, and put it underneath your chest. If it feels good and you can bring your belly and your chest down and reach your arms forward, go ahead. You can have your chin on the ground or your forehead. So if you did just happen to eat, you'll want to keep your belly from touching on the floor. It's actually good for digestion just to kind of let the belly hang here a little bit instead of smooshing it. So just checking with that, you know if you just ate or not. We're here for a while, so be patient, take your time. My beautiful friend Chloe Pastana, she's just started really getting inspired and doing some beautiful writings and quotes, and this is one that she posted recently and got permission to share with you all, maybe even perhaps here. Hi Chloe, if you're watching this, thank you for sharing your knowledge. May you feel peace in pockets of chaos, love in the midst of heartbreak, compassion in the wake of anger, and light in the darkest of times. I promise these states can coexist. It's about the opposing states of being, right? Just because we're in one experience, of emotion, doesn't mean that the opposite can't be there to be at a bigger, balanced place as we go through these different struggles, these different challenges in our life. Sometimes it's like we just don't give ourselves permission, I feel like, to experience the good when we're in the middle of something that would otherwise be coined as, bad or negative or dark. It's like somewhere we get a little bit clouded or diluted and forget that it's okay to also then allow there to be some light in that dark situation, right? To shed the peace, to be content, and to just practice integrating and being in those spaces amongst the opposite that may be happening. So just read it one more time. May you feel peace in pockets of chaos, love in the midst of heartbreak, compassion in the wake of anger, and light in the darkest of times. I promise these states can coexist. Chloe Stunner, thank you. Beautiful words. And stay here just a little bit longer, remembering that it's okay to be at peace, even if it does feel so chaotic. To trust, to do your best to enjoy what we have right now, and not be so driven by the fear. And the fear can still be there, right? The fear is still there, this uncertainty, this unknowing, but we also step in and be in that place of knowingness and love. Yeah. About 30 more seconds here. You can do it. Good. Good job, you guys. You made it. And swing your big toes toward one another. You're just kind of shifting your weight forward a little bit. And you can walk your hands up and just start to slide your knees back together. It's okay if you feel stuck. You'll be able to get out eventually. It's okay if you moan and groan. We do that all the time. And you're like, oh gosh, geez, whoa. Okay, and then a couple rounds of cat-cow. Just loosen things up. So knees under hips, wrist under shoulders. Tilt the tail up. Open the chest up, kind of pulling the heart through, and then exhale, really pull the belly button up to the sky. Tuck the chin. Inhale 2 more times. Chest forward, tail tilts. Exhale, pull the belly up. One last round. Inhale, nice movement for the spine. And exhale. Tabletop position, coming into shoelace pose, which is known as cat-cow or gomukhasana in traditional practice, or healing practice. So you're going to take your left knee behind your right knee and walk your feet out to opposite sides. And you're just going to start to try to sit back. You may be headed to land on your blanket, or if you have bricks or anything to sit on, you may need to do that. If this is not going to work in your body, just straighten out your bottom leg and just focus on your top leg, okay? So trying to bring your right heel over to the outside of your left hip, right, and get your knees in line. If you're modifying, if you're not modifying, you're still trying to get your knees in line with one another, and you're trying to get the heels about the same distance on either side as you can. And then set that right hip down into the ground. I like to put my hands on my feet or the ankles and just kind of take a moment to get grounded. Relax the shoulders. And stay here if you want to. You can fold forward. To add the arms and get a little shoulder love in there if you'd like, by taking your left arm up and reaching the hand back. Maybe take a right hand and just kind of encourage that stretch a little bit more through the triceps. And then right arm can wrap around. Maybe your hands can connect. Maybe they don't. That's okay. Or you could use a little tower strap if you really wanted to. But you can feel that right shoulder drop back a little bit and the elbows kind of spin toward midline. And inhale here. And again, option if you like, folding forward. At any point, if you took the shoulder bind, you'd like to release it, go ahead. About 45 more seconds here. There's been lots of good creative stuff going on around here on the farm in the neighborhood, so don't let the sanding distract you. Just know something beautiful is being created. Someone's finding their way to express themselves. I'm not sure if it's my husband or my friend, but either one, they're creating something beautiful. And slowly, you just bring yourself back up. Nice job, you guys. Just take your legs out, straighten them for a moment. Let those knees be straight. Maybe bounce your legs a little bit. I always like how that feels. You're going to slide your heels in, feet distance apart. And just like we did laying down, windshield wipers. And drop your knees to the right. And then to the left. And to the right. And then to the left. And now all the way to the right, and go ahead and take your left hand all the way around toward the back of your space. And twisting any amount that feels good to lower down maybe onto your forehead if you can. You're up on your forearms, that's fine. You're twisting a little bit more toward the right side of your mat. Maybe you can just slowly bring yourself back up, nice and relaxed through the eyes. Bring yourself back up. Good, and let's just go ahead and take that little twist on the other side. So drop your knees over to the left. Take your right hand up and around to the back of your mat. And then just slowly twisting the belly and the ribs and the chest toward the ground. And maybe lowering down toward the floor. Maybe coming all the way down. When you're ready, bring yourself back up, nice and slow, turning back to face the front, bringing your knees back up. Awesome. So let's try that shoelace with the other leg on the top, which would be your left leg on the top. So just sneak your right heel over to the right side and take your left heel up and over. And if you are straightening your leg, to modify your right leg, go straight. So maybe slide the seat out from underneath you. Remember to sit up on something, especially if your low back is pulling you back in the camp pelvis. Tilt back and make sure that you sit up, even if you have to sit on a few blankets to get enough height. That's totally fine. Okay, and then otherwise maybe you're leaning to the right to swing that right foot in and then put that left butt back on the floor because it probably trying to pop up. And make those couple little, movements or arrangements. Sometimes I pick myself up and just kind of shimmy a little bit, just a little hip action to help get deeper into the hips. So I just did that big external rotation of the hips, right, in that frog pose. So we're doing this nice internal rotation. Dive into those hips, those hungry hips that are just typically so tight and just hungry for, they're ready for a good solid stretch, some good, just attention. You're staying here, maybe folding forward. And then you're staying here or opting for the arm variation for the last minute or any bit of it that you'd like. So the right arm up, if you're doing that, maybe left arm up to just kind of pull that elbow in. You don't have to let the elbow really smash your head down here as you start to open up. Left hand wraps, connecting if you can. And the chest is squared. Check in, make sure that the hands of the hips aren't squeezing really tight. So like imagining the muscles around the hips, like fists. And just make sure the fists aren't clenching. Do your best to just relax those muscles so you can open up. And maybe at some point you start to fold forward, and then eventually you could round the head down toward the ground. Slowly coming back up out of the position and releasing. Good. Again, shake the legs out. It's going to roll up and you can massage around. Finish. Slide your seat out from underneath you. So again, if you need a little bit of extra something, you can sit up on the blanket. Caterpillar, which essentially is your Uttanasana forward fold. You can have something underneath the backs of your knees if you need, if you're especially tightening your hamstrings. You're just going to start to bring yourself forward any amount that you can, and as long as you don't have any lower back issues, you can allow yourself to round forward, drop your head. Yeah, otherwise maybe just focus on keeping your spine straight. I just pushed something on my little iPod here. Hopefully it didn't mess everything up. Oh, dang it. Oh, no, it's still going. Just kidding. Right, so again, spine straight if you have lower back conditions. And if flexion in the spine is okay, you can allow yourself to round here. Ramana Maharshi said, happiness is your nature. It is not wrong to desire. What is wrong is seeking it outside when it is inside. Just love that reminder, that fisherman that just knew that happiness could be found right there. He had enough. He had just the right amount for his own, survival and joy and contentment. While there can be so many mindsets that are desiring, if I have more money, then I'll be happy. If I find the right partner or my partner changes, then I'll be happy, The happiness is right here within. So it's okay to desire, to want to be happy. Just remember where it's at, where it stems from. Yeah, essentially who's responsible for it, right? You. Me, I'm responsible for my own happiness. One more minute here, so nice and calming to fold forward, so really, just try to step into that space with no resistance, no need to go deeper or force anything, right? Just really relaxing into it. Again, those thoughts just passing by. Your attention right here on the breath, right here on the sensations in the body. Last 30 seconds, maybe drop your head a little bit more. And slowly from here, bring yourself back up. Slide your hands back behind you. You're just beyond the blanket or move it out of your way. Now you're ready to lift your hips up into a reverse table. If it feels good, you're either looking straight up at the ceiling or you could drop your head all the way back and just lift those hips up. You're breathing out across the chest, the belly. Nice little counter pose. One more breath. Slowly bringing the hips back down. Nice. And move your blanket out of the way. We're going to lower down onto the back. We're going to take one final supine twist on each side before resting in our Shavasana. So, coming down onto the back, two choices. One that's gentler on the lower back is going to be to keep your knees together, arms out to T, and just drop your knees over to the right. Second option today will be to wrap the left leg around the right leg. Maybe you scoop the legs all the way around into that double bind for your eagle legs. You can pop your hips over to the left a little bit before dropping your knees down over to the right. And when that happens, a lot of times this left shoulder pops up. So you got to really press the right shoulder down to help that left shoulder get grounded and adjust your shoulders a little bit as needed to get that shoulder down. If it's still popping up, maybe unwind the legs and take it to a gentler twist or have something to rest your knees on the way down. So you could always have your blanket over on that right side if you need it. And again, the arms are out to T. Anytime there's a kind of a noise distraction, it's just such a good reminder that peace doesn't come from or only exist or land in a place where there's no noise or trouble or hard work. It's just about being amongst all those things and remaining calm in our heart. It just goes right in line there. Choosing your own happiness, your state of being. And dropping your head over to the left, if I didn't already say that. And maybe close your eyes. Bring the head back to center. If the legs are wound, you can just kind of unwind them and bring both knees up to the center. Adjust your hips so you're back in a neutral place. Hug your knees into your chest and just give yourself a little squeeze before we do the other side. Maybe you want to rock a little bit side to side if that feels good. Good. Come to stillness. And you can either both knees over to the left, arms out to T, or this time right leg over left leg there, or loop the foot all the way around. Maybe hop the hips over to the right a little bit, and then start to let the knees drop over to the left. Okay, maybe they come over to land on a blanket. Maybe you adjust your shoulders a little bit. Take your gaze toward your right hand. And then maybe just close your eyes. Just diving in, recognizing no matter, the ripples, waves, and up on the surface, it looks like there's not a calm place in the water. Just dive in, dive deep, reside in that beautiful place. There's utter calm and stillness, total peace. I love to notice how the expression on my face can help shift, right, and affect my experience. And just start by noticing, okay, my mind was wandering, my face is kind of crunched up like I'm in deep thought. Let's just relax the face. Start there. And notice how that feels. Oh, it feels so good. So it's, sometimes then there's even just that sweet little smile that naturally happens. Nothing forced, nothing fake. It's more a sense of sweetness. Like you're just really enjoying the shape, and feeling the effects of your practice. Head back to center. Unwinding the legs if they're wound up, bringing the legs back up to neutral. Adjusting those hips. And then bring your knees into your chest and give yourself a squeeze. Maybe rock a little side to side. Maybe rock your head in the opposite direction that your knees fall. And coming to the midline and rounding the forehead up to the knees. Just still squeeze upward, and releasing your head down into your resting pose Shavasana. Legs extend long. You're welcome to tuck a blanket under your head, or over the tops of your hips, or roll a blanket under your knees. Anything that helps and make you feel more comfortable. And then arms at your sides. Adjust the shoulders underneath a bit. Make sure you've got a feeling of good space and a sense of grounding. Same thing for your head, the back of the head on the mat, and just kind of feel that the neck is neutral, chin parallel to the floor. Your feet are comfortably far apart with the toes dropping open. Letting everything go. Deep breath all the way to the toes. Open the mouth, let it out. And then just let your body relax. Let your lips once again seal. And now just let the breath flow naturally. Let every muscle relax, every bone fall heavy. Just sliding right into that state of deep peace. For the next few minutes, no need to be anywhere else. No desire to be anywhere else. Just a great sense of contentment, ease, joy. Until you hear the bells, just allow yourself to rest, to absorb your practice. Inhale, slow, soft exhale. Start to move your fingers and your toes. And reach your arms overhead for a long body stretch if you'd like. Really knees into your chest to roll over to your right side. Take your time. Move slowly. Pressing up to seated. When you're ready, head comes up last and keep your eyes closed. Feel free to sit up on a blanket or something if you need a little support there. Let's take a moment to allow your hands to rest on your knees. To allow peace to be in your pockets, despite what's happening in the world. To remember that happiness is your nature. To stay more connected to the desire to reach hearts in that place of wisdom, contentment rather than such a need for more. Bring your hands to your heart center. Drop out of this place that is hunger and need, a craving. And rather to this kind of great sense of satisfaction and gratitude. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Practice. Hope you enjoyed it. Namaste. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate you tuning in. If you did enjoy, feel free to like and subscribe for some additional support. That'd be awesome. Thank you. And I do accept donations on Venmo. Every little bit counts and helps our family this time. So if that works for you, that's something you'd like to do, you can Venmo at Leah-Distad. So thanks again, and I will see you soon. Aloha.